What a week for the Padres. Wow. 2 words for you, Juan Soto. Welcome to Around San Diego. I'm CBS 8's Jenny Day. We have a lot of news to get to, including rent hikes, border sewage, monkeypox, and sea urchins. But we just have to start with a look at that new roster. A.J. Preller and the Friars not only extended No Joe, but also made some big trades, bringing in Juan Soto, Josh Hader, Josh Bell, and Brandon Drury. The Padres have struggled with the bullpen this year, so it's been a huge week for our Friars. We did, however, lose Eric Hosmer in the trade. As for Joe Musgrove, we'll keep him in San Diego through the 2027 season, 5 more years at $100 million. Not only has Musgrove been the Padres' ace this year, but he just means so much to this city. He, of course, is a hometown kid growing up in El Cajon and attending my same high school, Grossmont. Musgrove was the first pitcher in Padres history to earn a $100 million contract. Joe brought the Friars their first ever no-hitter, and this year he made the first All-Star game. Joe talked with us this week about the pressures of pitching in the city he was raised in and for the team he grew up cheering for.
You know, there is a lot of talk and a lot of hype about coming back and playing in your hometown and the distractions and all the stuff that comes with it, but I think it's perspective. You know, if you use that stuff and you kind of channel it around and you switch it, and there is a little bit of fear, and I've said that from the get-go, like there is a little bit of fear coming back here and pitching in front of all the people I know in my hometown where, you know, it's going to be hard to get away from, not only for me but for my family. But, you know, that added fear is a sense of motivation as well. It's a little bit of extra drive. It's, you know, it's hard to explain other than like it's somewhat of a motivator for me.
Yeah, no doubt about it. On their first night as the new team, they stayed true to the nickname Slam Diego. Padres fans and locals filled Petco Park after that flurry of trades. Again, it was an electrifying night for the new players. CBS 8's Regina Urita has more from excited fans.
With tickets sold out and Petco Park packed.
We're going to beat the Dodgers. We're going to win the World Series this year. That's all I know.
Downtown was filled with people showing off their baseball jerseys and hats. Streets were loaded with vehicles rushing to park and head to the stadium, while fans outside Petco Park felt the electric moment of this game.
I'm excited. I mean, he's such a, look at that.
And that's because hundreds of fans who didn't have tickets earlier this week purchased their tickets just hours before the first pitch after learning the team's newest stars will be playing tonight. Other fans just happened to have the hottest ticket in town.
We bought these tickets before the announcement, so we were like, we're really lucky to be able to be here because huge game, like big time for San Diego people who are big Padres fans.
The game comes a day after the blockbuster move that sent Juan Soto and Josh Bell from Washington to San Diego in exchange for 6 players. The Padres also acquired closer Josh Hader from Milwaukee and Brandon Drury from Cincinnati, who hit a grand slam on the first pitch he saw as a Padre. Throughout downtown, fans could not stop talking about how the Padres might be World Series contenders.
Having Juan Soto on the team is going to make a huge difference. I even told my friends and family we're going to make it to the World Series this year.
Fans even showed off the new gear.
And I see you're rocking the new gear. Let's see it.
Right here. Let's go San Diego!
All around, San Diego Padres fans made sure to let the opposing teams know this is the beginning of a new era.
Let's go San Diego, Regina, thanks. Well, now to the latest health crisis, monkeypox. A state of emergency was declared this week in California. Jasmine Ramirez takes it from here.
The governor says the state of emergency is meant to ramp up efforts to help slow the spread of the virus. This includes getting more vaccines and spreading awareness. Following New York and Illinois, California is now the 3rd and largest state to issue a statewide emergency. Lines for the monkeypox vaccine stretched for blocks in San Francisco as cases have climbed. The city announced its own state of emergency Thursday.
We're the epicenter of the monkeypox epidemic right now. We've got about half the cases in California and about 2% of the state's population. So it's right that we get vaccine. We just wish we had more so we could serve the community better.
The most recent data shows San Francisco has reported 305 cases, while San Diego County has seen 27. Tonight, Board of Supervisors Chair Nathan Fletcher announced he supports the governor issuing a state state of emergency. Fletcher says San Diego County is likely to align with the state in the coming days by making its own declaration. Right now, the county is focusing its first doses on people at the highest risk. This includes men who have sex with multiple male partners. According to the World Health Organization, at least 95% of patients with monkeypox are men who have sex with other men. Though monkeypox is primarily spreading during sex, anyone can catch the virus through close physical contact.
Jasmine Ramirez there reporting, and officials say California has distributed more than 25,000 doses of vaccine and received more than 61,000. More doses are expected in the coming days and weeks. You can get updates from San Diego County health officials through text messages. Just text COSD, County of San Diego, monkeypox to 468-311. Now, for most of us, monkeypox was unheard of before even the last few months. Now it's a major public health concern. So let's take a closer look at the virus.
So what is monkeypox? Let's start with the name. First of all, monkeys are kind of getting a bad rap here. Monkeypox was first discovered in 1958 in monkeys being used for research, but it turns out they were not the source of it. They just happened to be susceptible to it like humans. It belongs to the same family of viruses as smallpox, but it's less contagious and not anywhere near as deadly. When smallpox was eradicated globally more than 40 years ago, officials stopped vaccinating for it. And that's part of the problem now. The smallpox vaccine provides protection against other pox viruses, including monkeypox. The last monkeypox outbreak in the U.S. was in 2003, but that was only 47 cases, all linked to pet prairie dogs. Those animals were infected after coming in contact with small mammals imported from Ghana. During this outbreak, monkeypox appears to be spreading through skin-to-skin contact with someone infected. It has an incubation period of usually 1 to 2 weeks and can start with a fever, muscle aches, and fatigue. After that, a rash develops, resulting in lesions. It usually lasts 2 to 4 weeks. While most people recover just fine, kids and people with weakened immune systems are at risk for severe disease. The U.S. uses 2 types of smallpox vaccine to fight monkeypox, and the CDC says anyone who thinks they've been exposed should get a shot. But that's easier said than done. Doctors and patients are reporting lengthy delays in test results and a daunting amount of paperwork just to get treatment.
Well, with high inflation already hammering Californians at the gas station and grocery store, many are now facing another skyrocketing expense, rent hikes. Starting this month, landlords can start raising rent. Regina Urita shows us what you need to know and where you can get help if you need it.
Tenants across California might have gotten a notice promising a big rent increase this month, a concern for many already struggling to pay bills. With your budget already getting squeezed by price hikes, the last thing you want to see is a massive rent increase notice taped to your apartment door. Well, that's exactly what many San Diegans could face this month.
If a tenant gets a rent increase that they can no longer afford to pay, chances are that they're not going to be able to find anywhere else to move to.
If you are a tenant living in an apartment complex built before 2007, you could see up to a 10% increase on your rent payment. But how did we get here? Alliance Californians for Community Empowerment, a nonprofit that works with tenants to prevent housing injustices, says it's because of a law that was passed to protect tenants from being pushed out of their homes. The law caps annual rent increases at 5% plus an inflationary figure. Because inflation is so high, the requirement is capped at 10%.
The maximum rent increase is 5% plus inflation or 10%, whichever is lower.
With a 10% increase, tenants are afraid they won't be able to make rent and will be forced to give up their home. What's even worse, AB 1482 does not apply to renters in lots of places, including apartments built in the past 15 years or those that are affordable housing, meaning landlords can hike rent up to 30%.
Just driving around San Diego streets, you can see how many people are homeless.
Like Francisco Hernandez, who lives in an affordable apartment in Linda Vista. He tells me he's already battling eviction.
I'm very afraid to be homeless with my family, with my daughter, with my wife.
I asked the city to see if there's any way tenants could be protected. City Council Vice President Sean Elo Rivera tells me San Diego does not have rent control. It only has a no-fault eviction.
And what that says is, if you're a tenant in the city of San Diego and you've paid your rent on time and you've abided by the terms of your lease, there are only a few exceptions by which you can be evicted.
If you're a tenant who is struggling to pay rent, we have listed a couple nonprofits who can help you financially. Just go to CBS8.com, click the help button. Regina Urita, CBS 8.
Yeah, and meantime, nearly every mayor in San Diego County came together this week to talk about homelessness. 12 of the 18 city leaders met with 2 organizations on a mission to improve the situation. The San Diego Rescue Mission and the Lucky Duck Foundation are leading the way. Now,
we're going to build an army of people that are connected, that understand the role that they play, and I can guarantee you we're going to change the state of homelessness in San Diego.
The issue of homelessness is a county-wide issue, so the majority of San Diego's mayors met to talk about ways to work better together.
Today was a good first start, but I think we need to bring in more partners at a higher level to really get to the very heart of what some of the issues are.
The regional approach to homelessness may include more affordable housing, more shelters, and more help from state and federal partners.
All 18 mayors signing a letter to Governor Newsom saying we want care court, we support conservatorship reform. I think that kind of coalition building is why these bills up in Sacramento are advancing. And my hope is it'll provide relief to us very, very soon.
The mayors discussed resources, things that are working, and daily challenges for each city.
We continue to see extreme mental health issues, substance abuse issues, things that, frankly, cities aren't well equipped for.
There was talk of adding a mental health department and spending money efficiently because those at the heart of the issue say the homeless crisis is only getting worse.
There's more people living on the streets than ever before. There's more people with mental health challenges than ever before. More people with drug addiction and alcohol addiction than ever before. So part of today was about, we got to do some things differently.
Donnie D., president of the Rescue Mission, says the pandemic played a role.
Bouncing around from couch to couch, from room to room, from family member to family member, that by definition is homeless.
Yeah, and a recent count done by the county estimates our homeless population at more than 8,000. So the next step for this group is to get all 18 city managers involved. That meeting is set for January 23rd. Well, children and parents are getting ready for the new school year, and there's a new push to address youth mental health. The state has money this year to recruit more than 12,000 mental health professionals and get them into school systems, but there are major hurdles to make that a reality. Our political reporter, Morgan Reiner, has more on how the program works.
Any college or grad student who wants to be a school counselor, psychologist, or social worker can get up to $20,000. They just have to commit 4 years to working in a public school district with a certain percentage of low-income families.
Like the rest of the nation, California is facing a youth mental health crisis.
Since the pandemic, the suicide rate has increased across the state by about 20%. And that's even worse for our Black youth. And that number has increased, and it's been about 28% increase since 2020.
LaShawn Francis is the director of behavioral health for Children Now, a research, policy, and advocacy group that focuses on children's well-being.
We have outlined how many kids don't feel that they have at least one caring adult on campus to support their needs. So that's something that is very alarming to us.
It's something Superintendent Tony Thurmond is trying to address. He worked with Senator Mike McGuire to author a bill to incentivize students to work in public schools.
Student, after they get out of college, would have to dedicate at least 4 years to a school district or to a nonprofit that serves the school district to be able to see their student debt erased by the state of California.
A bill he no longer has to worry about because the idea was already added into the state budget.
So this is an incredibly targeted program, getting counselors to where they're needed most in low-income communities.
UC San Francisco professor of health policy Janet Kaufman applauds the initiative, but worries there are a few barriers in the way.
In order to achieve the goal, we need to be able to expand the capacity of the Cal State University system and other social work programs to expand. And I'm emphasizing Cal State because the majority of our Masters of Social Work programs are at Cal State campuses.
She said students are currently being denied entry to these programs because there are not enough faculty to teach.
I asked the senator if this program only applies to students or if someone already working in the mental health professional field decides they want to switch over to public education, would they qualify for the same benefits? He told me it's something he's definitely going to look into, but for right now, it only applies to students.
Morgan, thanks. Well, now to another sewer line break in Tijuana that's flowing into the flood control channel that leads to the Tijuana River. The spill continues with millions of gallons every day, and it's not expected to be fixed for a couple of more days. Sean Stiles shows us how the spill affects Imperial Beach and Coronado.
It may sound like a broken record, but there's been another huge sewage spill in the Tijuana River Valley from the Mexico side. And it's only a matter of time until that sewage makes its way out into the ocean with this south swell that it arrives here in Imperial Beach.
We've had an advisory about a spill on the U.S.-Mexico border. 49 million gallons of sewage have spilled into the Tijuana River Valley. It has not reached the ocean yet.
As the mayor of Imperial Beach, Serge Dedina has been fighting for clean ocean water his entire time in office. This most recent spill is ongoing and continues to grow.
As I understand it, it's at the rate of 30 million gallons a day, and there could be more in the river. So that's obviously a problem. So we're looking at, a lot more sewage being discharged.
I spoke with Morgan Rogers, who is with the International Boundary Water Commission. He told me the spill occurred on Saturday when repairs were being made to one of the two main lines that carries raw sewage out of Tijuana. As the pipe came back online, the burst occurred. The raw sewage made its way into the flood control channel and eventually spilled over into Smuggler's Gulch. The break caused other problems because to fix the line, Baja officials had to shut down the pump station, which meant the international treatment plant on the U.S. side must work twice as hard. And it can't do as good a job with the sewage it's treating that's discharged into the ocean. Eventually, the sewage that has collected in the flood control channel is expected to make its way into the ocean. Joe Sable surfs IB and knows when it does, it won't take long for the south swell to bring the pollution north.
As strong as the currents are right now, I don't know how far the TJ River is. I know it's not far, but it would only take a day. Once it hits ocean water, I'm sure of it. This current had a guy just paddle out, and he's already quarter mile down the beach, and he's only been out there for 5 minutes.
The repairs of the repair are expected to take at least 5 days before the whole system can be put back online. And for Mayor Dedina, he hopes that these spills can stop being commonplace.
So this is a tragedy that is preventable, and we need a lot more investment in Tijuana and then our side of the border, so this doesn't kill us.
And with this ongoing problem with sewage out of the Tijuana River Valley, it's hoped that the two nations can come together with a solution to keep these beaches open and beautiful for everyone. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Yeah, been an issue as long as I can remember, Sean. Thank you. Well, as I continue to take you around San Diego, neighbors in Kensington are pushing back against any commercial development project that could change what they describe as a historic complex. The complex includes 2 restaurants and the Ken Theater, all built in the late 40s. CBS 8's Rocio de la Fe has more on what has neighbors so upset.
These properties have now been listed for sale, but Kensington neighbors tell me they want to maintain these structures and prevent them from coming down and are willing to put up a fight to do so.
It's just going to change everything about Kensington.
A committed group of Kensington neighbors are coming together to voice their concerns over allowing any commercial development to take place where the Ken Theater, Cucina Sorella, and the Haven are located.
The residents here, we just want to retain that character and that feel of Old Town Kensington.
The 3 properties were recently listed for sale, and although no buyer has come forward yet, neighbors say they want the buildings to stay intact without someone tearing them down.
This complex of buildings right here,
they're in great shape to start with. There's nothing wrong with them. They don't need to be torn down because they're decrepit or whatever, but they're also very historic.
Long-term resident Maggie McCann has been outspoken about preserving the feel and look of the buildings because she says it's what makes this neighborhood unique.
Maintains a great deal of historical value in there.
McCann and her neighbors say they fear the buildings could be torn down by developers and used to build high-rise housing that would eat away at already limited parking and add to the heavy traffic in the small community.
Anything coming in here that's being proposed with no parking is, for the neighborhood, going to be a non-starter. Some of my neighbors here are within 1 block of this project and already don't have any parking on their own streets. That's not why we moved to Kensington. We came here for the small town feel.
We'll do whatever it takes to keep this the historical, beautiful property that it is.
The group of neighbors say they would even consider forming a limited liability partnership and buy the location to preserve it. Rocio De La Fe, CBS 8.
Yeah, Rocio, thanks. We'll certainly keep you posted. Well, summertime, of course, is the best time to hop in a pool or take a stroll in a garden. And if you're lucky, you'll do both. In the Zevely zone, Jeff heads to the East County to visit St. Madeleine's Sophie Center.
This is a special spot in El Cajon, a day program where 400 adults are living their best lives.
I love this garden.
Walk the garden at St. Madeleine's Sophie Center.
Hey!
You quickly learn
Come on in.
what they're growing here.
Hey!
Has little to do with fruits and vegetables.
Oh, no, not you?
Yeah, I know you. How are you? Oh, you just burned me, didn't you? Oh! That's where we found Richard and Mitch digging in the dirt. When you come here, what does it do for you?
Feel like a happy man. I'm a happy man.
Empowering people has been Deborah Emerson's passion for 27 years.
We'll look around. The people here bring that joy in your eyes and your heart.
You told me that in the 1950s, adults like these were hidden away.
Hidden away or institutionalized. Even, their families or their doctors would say, give that person to an institution.
She's wonderful.
Isaac Hernandez can't say enough good things about their CEO. Deborah was telling me that she wants you to live your best life. Are you living your best life?
Yes, I am.
The only thing
You made me cry.
that could possibly make this center better, what a beautiful pool,
Yes, it is.
would be a place to cool down. And Danny Gibson must have read my mind. You left quite awake. Never a dull moment around here for Victor McGill. Do you like coming here?
I like coming here, yeah. I like coming here in the pool. But I like working in the kitchen.
The kitchen is not only where 100 amazing meals are made a day, but also where Grace Kennedy is training for employment. From the skills you learn here, when you go out and find a job, what do you think that will do for you?
Make me better.
Make you better. Perhaps Tiffany Schlender said it best when she told me her favorite part of every day happens here. When you feel like you're being useful, how does that make you feel?
Happy.
I bet.
I'm happy right now.
In 2022, disabilities aren't something you hide. They're something you flex. In the Zevely zone, Jeff Seven.
That's awesome.
CBS 8.
Well done, Jeff. So truly beautiful. Thank you for that. And there are dozens of ways for San Diegans to get involved and help there. For more information, click on that help button at cbs8.com. Well, a baby girl born with a rare condition went home from the hospital this week after 6 months. Baby Charlotte is recovering from a complicated surgery performed at Rady Children's Hospital, but again now finally gets to go home. Kelly Hessedal was there for baby Charlotte's graduation.
I feel just lucky to have her and to being able to be her mom.
7-month-old baby Charlotte is heading home with her family, graduating a 6-month stay at Rady Children's Hospital.
I'm so grateful. I'm so amazed by her. I'm so thankful for all the medical team here. And I'm so proud. I'm just so proud. I just love her so much.
Mom Carla and Dad Joshua have had a lot of surprises during their journey to parenthood. The first one came at 20 weeks when they were told they were having 2 babies, not 1.
When she said there's 2, I was like, how sure are you? Like, is there a percentage of like where you're not sure? And she's like, no, I'm 100% sure.
Baby Olivia was born just fine, but baby Charlotte was born with just 1 lung and a narrow windpipe.
It's a rare set of anomalies that all came together at one time in one child, which is very interesting because she actually has a twin who essentially has a normal airway, normal lungs. Today is the day!
Dr. Matthew Brigger performed a complicated surgery to shorten and widen her windpipe. Though the odds of success were low, Charlotte pulled through like a champ. Since then, there have been ups and downs. Charlotte is now healthy and happy. Her parents say she has a fiery spirit.
She was a tiger. Strangely enough, her hair actually turned red. Yeah. And her twin is not a redhead. So they definitely now have their distinguishing marks.
And a redhead. The doctor expects Charlotte to go on and live a normal life with 1 lung. She may not be able to run a marathon ever, but he said she should be just fine. We asked how it's possible one identical twin was born with 1 lung and the other wasn't. He said it is just genetics. Well, quinceañeras, also known as a girl's 15th birthday, can be a defining moment for families. It's a coming-of-age celebration that marks a milestone in a girl's life. It's celebrated mainly in the Hispanic culture, and the traditions vary depending on where you come from. As CBS 8 Rocio de la Fe reports, the custom is growing increasingly popular.
It's one of the most celebrated birthdays for young girls, a quinceañera, a traditional coming-of-age celebration for families no matter the background or culture. It's celebrated all throughout Latin America, the Caribbean, and among Latino communities in the United States.
A quinceañera is the celebration of the transition from a little girl to a young woman.
Owner and designer of Cinderella Brides in Chula Vista, Osmar Martinez says the custom has grown a significant amount in the U.S.
I see this tradition continuing and even growing a lot more.
Martinez says due to the pandemic, most families were unable to hold their quinceañera, so many are starting to celebrate once again.
Things are picked up really fast. I think there was a huge delay, or parties have been delayed. The events are being planned again. People they want to have that celebration. For 2 years they've been on lockdown, so now we want to be with our loved ones and celebrate it, rejoice in our traditions and keep our traditions alive.
Both Anali Rubio Simpson and Monique Tovar had to postpone their events because of COVID.
It is a huge decision whether or not you want to have a quince, so yes, it was something I've been waiting for. I just wanted, my family, the dress, the party, and for everybody to have fun. Because after this pandemic, it was like, am I going to have a quince or am I not?
So we had to postpone it to 2021, which I'm happy for because all my family was able to show up.
For Rubio Simpson and Tovar, their quinceañeras were an opportunity for their mothers to celebrate as well.
My mom especially, she was super excited that I wanted to have a quince because she didn't have one herself. So planning the quince was like hers coming to life too. It was her dream seeing me having a quince, so it made me super proud as well.
Quinceañeras can vary according to one's culture. Each country celebrates a bit differently. For some, it can be both religious and to social gathering, and for others, it's all about family and the party. But no matter how you choose to celebrate, one thing that's common for all is the dresses.
Right now, what's really popular this year, it's the hunter green dresses. We're going for the dark colors right now. Before, like I said, traditional, it was the white quinceañera dress. But right now, there's the dark green dress is really popular. We got the reds and trains, long trains, floral patterns with lace is very in right now with long capes as well.
On average, these dresses alone can range from $900 to $1,300, making quinceañeras a costly celebration.
A high-end quinceanera party event, you're looking anywhere, I think, closely to like $25,000 to $30,000. People are going full force, even bigger.
And no matter how low-end or high-scale these celebrations can be, Martinez says he believes the tradition is only getting stronger.
I don't think this is a tradition that's going to go away anytime soon.
Lucia de la Fe, CBS 8.
Yeah, I've been to a few myself. Increíble. Well, when you think of Elvis Presley, you probably associate the king of rock and roll with Las Vegas, not Escondido. But as we take you back into the Zevely zone, Jeff visits the Heartbreak Hotel.
This is your typical Escondido neighborhood, except on this block, there's one home. That's the king of them all. For years, viewers have asked me to knock on the door at the Heartbreak Hotel. Through the turnstile we went with the home's owner, Andre Villa.
Well, this is the inside right here.
Andre bought this home in 1977 and figured it's now or never.
It's the Boulevard of Broken Dreams, cirrhosis by the sea, a room without a view.
As a child, Andre had a love affair with movies, and this production stars three main characters.
Elvis Presley, here's James Dean, Marilyn Monroe is over here.
This is just a drop in the bucket. It's literally a drop in the bucket.
56 years ago, Andre's wife, Penny, couldn't help falling in love.
A lot of guys want a man cave, right? He has a man house and yard.
Of course, the minute I put Heartbreak Hotel here, started all of it.
Andre's neighbors don't mind at all. In fact, they bring their friends over to see what's new. Bob's Big Boy.
Yeah.
Ronald McDonald, and a Chevron sign. So you're branching out.
Branching out.
Colonel Sanders?
Colonel Sanders, he's there next. And I have a giant pig up on top here.
You didn't tell me about the pool.
Oh, yeah.
This used to be your garage?
Yeah.
A garage that doubles as a workout room, which is a good reminder for visitors. This is their home. You've had people show up at your house and actually think this is a hotel and ask for a room.
Yeah, they want to know the prices.
And what'd you say?
Well, it's just my home, and most of them turn around and hightail it back out of here.
That means no vacancies at the Heartbreak Hotel. After all, they've got a full house with Elvis, James, and so much Marilyn. You're not jealous at all that Andre's obsessing over Marilyn Monroe?
No, she didn't make it to 75. She was a really nice lady. She was very sharp. She just wasn't as ornery as I am. Seriously, I raised the kids. I have 9 grandchildren. I don't care what he does with the house.
To which Andre says to his wife, "Thank you. I thank you very much." What's your favorite Elvis song? In the Zevely Zone.
Oh, I don't know, Heartbreak Hotel.
Jeff Zevely, CBS 8.
Wow, and Andre and Penny don't give out their address. They say if you want to find Heartbreak Hotel, you will. They only ask that you be respectful, enjoy their home from the street, but please don't knock on the door. Well, there are hundreds of chemicals out there that may be harmful to our health. So which ones should we avoid? In this Earth 8 report, Neda Iranpour shows us how sea urchins are helping provide answers out of a lab in La Jolla.
These are the actual animals?
Welcome to Hamdoun's Lab, a place where first-of-its-kind discoveries are being made by a group of hardworking researchers led by marine biologist Amro Hamdoun.
So this species of sea urchin that we use for this kind of work is Lidochinus pictus.
Also known as the painted sea urchin, native to Southern California waters.
They have a lot of eggs. Each one of these sea urchins will produce several million eggs, so that's more than enough material for us to do our experiments in the lab.
That is their natural way, which is why sea urchins have been used in research for about 40 years. And now, for the first time in the U.S., Hamdoun's lab discovered how to create genetically modified sea urchins.
They either have the knockout gene or they don't.
Casey Mitchell, a lab assistant, shows us the sea urchins that came from the ocean, and you wouldn't know the difference between the two except for the labels on their tanks.
We will then fertilize those and then create, hopefully hundreds of thousands of brand new urchins. Those offspring will be genetically modified.
She says here at Scripps Institution of Oceanography, they're essentially setting a new standard for other labs.
What we're doing is, in essence, making something that's like a fruit fly from the sea that you can study genetically.
A fruit fly of the sea, but with far more spines. What is it doing as it wiggles?
Yeah, so sea urchins have control over their spines. Basically, that's how they move around.
They use two tentacles to search for their food. They like kelp. They search for a mate and chemicals in the environment they should perhaps avoid.
Very sophisticated kind of sensory systems.
By knocking out a protein called a drug transporter in these genetically modified sea urchins, researchers can ultimately see why certain chemicals enter the human body and why some don't. Hamdoun tells me there are about 85,000 chemicals out there, and about 200 to 300 chemicals are found in our bodies. DDT is one example.
Almost everybody will have some DDT in their body, and it's from this legacy of DDT that's present in the oceans primarily.
The dumping of barrels and barrels of the toxic pesticide decades ago still haunts marine biologists, but Hamdoun's lab is helping make sure history doesn't repeat itself.
Change the way that we use chemicals in the environment so that we use them more safely.
And ironically enough, this was all a fallout of the pandemic.
While a lot of people were home sort of making sourdough starters and doing arts and crafts, we were doing something similar. We were just making a genetically modified sea urchin.
Yeah. That can eventually determine what might be hazardous to our health.
To understand fundamentally new things about the way that life works.
For Earth 8 at Hamdoun's lab in La Jolla, Neda Iranpour.
Truly so interesting, Neda, thank you. As always, thank you for your time. Thank you for staying informed. Hope you join me each week as I take you around San Diego. For CBS 8, I'm Jenny Day. Take good care.